from the cloudy Copenhagen, and welcome to the webinar Stakeholder Coordination in District Energy Systems, the case of combined cooling, heating, and power in Zhuhai, hosted by Copenhagen Center on Energy Efficiency. My name is Begonia, and I'm working as a research assistant at the Copenhagen Center, and I will be the moderator for today's webinar. Just a couple of things before we move to the main content of our webinar. This webinar is going to be about 35 minutes long, including time for Q&A at the end. In case you cannot stay until then or want to get back to our presentations, all the materials and recording of the whole webinar will be available online in a few days on the Copenhagen Center's knowledge management system. And we have many other webinars and information there. Have a look. I'll give you more information in a few minutes. Before we start discussing about today's webinar, I would like to inform our attendees that we comply with the General Data Protection, also known as GDPR. This means that your personal data, such as name, email, workplace, etc., is safely processed and stored, and all of your rights pursuant to the GDPR are respected. You have full access to the data being processed about you, and at any time, you can request that inaccurate data be deleted or rectified. For access or further information, please contact with the people that are presented here. A few things about the Copenhagen Center. The center conducts research and advisory activities in the field of energy efficiency and serves as energy efficiency hub for the Sustainable Energy for All initiative. The center has an established network of global, regional, and national partners with a broad range of stakeholders to help accelerate the implementation of energy efficiency activities. On a regular basis, the Copenhagen Center is conducting webinars. All materials, including recordings and presentations from previous webinars, can be found on Copenhagen Center's knowledge management system and under the e-learning section. The material of today's webinar will be uploaded shortly, but until then, you can check one of the recommended webinars that are related to today's topic. And now I would like to briefly introduce to the speaker of today's webinar. Mr. Kenny Kun Jan has been appointed as the Vice President of Zhuhai Hengqin Energy Development Ltd. since September 2015. Mr. Jan holds a Master Bachelor degree from the Hwaseong University of Science and Technology and an MBA from the Bethel School of Business at Simon Fraser University. Mr. Jan has been in the HVAC market of China for more than 20 years, and he's also signed as the Vice Director in the CDEA, China District Energy Association. We also will have Clara Camarasa. She's a researcher and project manager with more than 5 years of experience in the field of energy efficiency in the building sector. Finally, I would like to inform you that you can send us your questions during the presentation, and we will do our best to answer as many as we can at the end. Please don't forget to mention the name of the panelist the question is for. And now I will give the floor to our first speaker, Clara Camarasa.
Welcome to Stakeholder Coordination in District Energy Systems, the case of combined cooling, heating, and power in Zhuhai. A webinar, as Begonia mentioned, developed by the Copenhagen Center on Energy Efficiency in collaboration with the United Nations Environment Programme and Zhuhai Hengqin Energy Development in China through the District Energy in Cities initiative. The objective of this session is to share insights on the importance of stakeholder coordination in district energy development, along with key steps to conduct it. I will start with a brief introduction based on a theory block, which describes general aspects of stakeholder coordination in district energy systems. This will take approximately 10 minutes. In the next block, Mr. Kun Jan will share best case practice in the instance of combined cooling, heating, power in Zhuhai, China. This will take around 15 to 20 minutes. Finally, we will have about 15 minutes for an open Q&A session in which you will have the opportunity to raise any questions or comments to both Mr. Kun Jan and myself. Block number 1, stakeholder coordination in district energy systems. Starting with the definition, stakeholder coordination can be defined as the process by which an organization involves people who may affect or be affected by actions derived from a project or plan. In district energy systems, it refers to the strategy and actions aim at facilitating the alignment of interest among all stakeholders to ensure its fruitful development. It is important to highlight that developing district energy systems is a multidimensional process and may concern many levels of action, ranging from energy and urban planning to setting up the financial and technical support mechanisms. It also includes the provision of all the necessary infrastructure and services. Stakeholder coordination requires the engagement of multiple stakeholders from different institutions that are not necessarily used to working together. So, for instance, the local urban planning section with the National Energy Department. To better define what stakeholder coordination is in the context of district energy, it might be useful to clarify what it is and what it is not. Stakeholder engagement is a genuine two-way or more process rather than a one-way communication path. It should represent a meaningful dialogue where views are respected and taken seriously into account, instead of a process where views are managed or driven in a single direction. It is a collaborative exercise to reach a solution that works, not just a pitching or selling of a predetermined or predefined solution or project. It should also have a defined outcomes rather than a selected number of outputs. An example could be that a project that everybody believes in, rather than asserting that if interviews have been held, all stakeholders would have had their say and be satisfied with the result. The engagement with stakeholders should be structured and systematic, trying to avoid having conversations merely with the people you know or you think you need to talk to. Finally, in stakeholder coordination, change is possible through actions, yet behavioral change should not be expected nor sought for. But why is it so important to ensure an effective stakeholder coordination in district energy systems? In district energy development, stakeholder structures will have to shift from a technology focus and engineer-oriented corporate structures towards a more collaborative governance in which multiple stakeholders work together to ensure an efficient operation of the energy system. To achieve this, it is crucial to acknowledge and manage everybody's perspective and create a common working framework where values, rights, expectations, and responsibilities for each of the parties are settled. In this way, an appropriate identification and involvement of stakeholders is crucial to ensure the success of the district energy system, including its financial and technical viability. This will also help to reduce possible controversies or information asymmetries, which could affect the decision-making or change in values of the stakeholders involved. To ensure this, a specific set of skills are needed, some of which are considered as soft skills. For instance, active listening, empathy, authenticity, analytical skills, and interpretation. Others, which are more general management skills, such as time management, planning, prioritization, etc. Project managers and sponsors should make sure that the skill set is existent within the team or outsourced otherwise. Several approaches can be followed to conduct stakeholder coordination. In this slide, in this webinar, we introduce a systematic framework to guide stakeholder engagement in district energy system based on a 6-step approach. Step 1 is the crucial initial step, which is to identify the project champion or project lead, who will be leading the stakeholder coordination and making sure the success of the initiative. It is typically a public entity, as the main objective should be the common good. At a local level, this is usually the municipality who should take this role, or an institution established by a municipality or public authority. Alternatively, this can be the local utility. At a national level, it can be one or several ministries, or even a national institution, again, ideally led by a public body. Once the project champion or lead has been identified, it can initiate and guide the next 5 steps in the stakeholder coordination process. Step 2 is stakeholder identification, in which stakeholders are selected, including organizations and individuals. Step number 3 is stakeholder mapping, in which stakeholders are profiled to understand the nature of the roles, interests, goals, concerns, and motivation within the plan or project. Next, it is important to prioritize the communication with the stakeholders based on their influence, interest, and power in the development of the district energy system. Step number 5 is planning, which is critical to trace appropriate communication channels and resources to engage with the various stakeholders according to the level of priority. Finally, step number 6 is stakeholder engagement, dedicated to ensuring that all stakeholders understand the purpose of the pledge, as well as its strategic vision. When developing a district energy system, it will be important to act in 2 scales, a national and subnational or local level, meaning steps 2 to 6 should be conducted at these 2 scales in parallel. To this end, establishing a steering committee in each of these 2 levels is critical to first guide the strategic direction, and 2, support the project lead in defining the key actions. The steering committee is typically comprised by senior managers who have a vested interest in the delivery of the outcome of the program or project, such as government officials, utilities, or even investors. In the case obtained in India, for instance, the National District Energy Steering Committee was created on a national level and a local district energy cell on a city level. These 2 committees were critical for the strategic direction, but also to ensure a proper communication and alignment among these 2 scales of action. On this basis, I will give the floor to Mr. Kunyan, who will share his experience of stakeholder coordination in the process of combined cooling, heating, and power in Zhuhai, China. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, this is Kenny Kunyan. I'm the Vice President of Zhuhai Hengqin Energy Development Corporation Limited. It's my great honor to be invited here in UNEP's webinar to share our experiences and perspectives in developing CCHP projects. My presentation will cover 5 aspects. First is the project background, and then goes to the project description. The third one will be stakeholder coordination, and then it's the key challenges and lessons learned. The last one is about some recommendations. For the project background, Hengqin Island is a quite unique coastal island in the southern China. It's around 106 square miles. 10 years ago, still remained uncultivated, while places around it has been developed quite a lot. It's quite close to Macau and Hong Kong. It has been connected with Hong Kong by the famous Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge. Regarding the weather, it's a typical subtropical oceanic climate. The average temperature is around 22.5 Celsius degree, highest at 38.5 in August, and the lowest at 2.5 in January. Because of the unique environment, Hengqin Island was positioned as a top-level district globally 10 years ago, especially as an ecological and smart island, complying with national initiative of innovative-driven and green growth. Based on this positioning, an additional green power station was in need, which should be capable of instantly adjusting the electric peak and the load for the grid of the Big Bay Area. The planned construction area in this island is around 30 million square meters. That was why comes the CCHP project, an inclusive decision for the green energy supply. Here is a simplified outline of CCHP process flow. The power station receives natural gas from the oceanic oil fields and delivers electricity to the grid, and transmits steam to the steam users or to the energy station. The energy station employs absorption chillers, electric chillers, thermal storage, and some other devices to provide cooling and heating to the end users. Our business model is BOO, which is build, own, and operate. Our company is a joint venture formed by 2 parties. One is SPIC, a National State-Owned Energy Corporation, takes 55% share. Another one is Hengqin, the local city-owned investment corporation, owns 45% share. Here is a snapshot of our CCHP. As you can see, this project is distributed in the whole island. The green star on the upper side is the power station, with the power generating capacity at 390 megawatts. The scattered yellow squares represent the 10 energy stations. The total design cooling capacity is 500,000 cooling tons. The red lines show the network of the steam pipe. The whole CCHP will be under the centralized control by a smart system called DCS. Hengqin CCHP is featured with the following aspects. First is a master plan in advance. The local government defends that the CCHP Green Project is a key part in the energy sector in the district master plan. Secondly, the consistent support in processing by the government. Thirdly, construction in phases and steps is more effective on the cost control of process management for our company. Fourth, for the affordability, we commit to the market into no higher than that of the traditional way for the end users, no higher than the level of other similar projects. Other features include the cascade use of energy to reclaim the low-grade energy by employing absorption chillers. In this way, the primary energy efficiency rate can go up as high as 73%. By utilizing the thermal storage, we can fully take the advantage of the electricity price difference between the peak and bottom and operate beneficially. Besides, we use high-efficiency equipment including electric chillers, pumps, cooling towers, etc. to ensure the whole system runs cost-efficiently. Lastly, as usual, our charging package consists of two parts. Capacity charge is based on the claimed load by the end users. Metering charge is defined by the amount the end users consumed. With all these major features, we only employ about 30% electric chillers of that of traditional in-house cooling capacity. That's a phenomenal reduction in terms of the use of hydrofluorocarbons. We already run this joint venture for 5 years. Currently, we have 33 end users with registered cooling load at 80,000 cooling tons. We already signed 59 contracts in total with nearly 160,000 cooling tons. Up to now, we have developed 126 end users with estimated cooling load at 280 cooling tons. In the long run, once the system operates in full load, the whole achievement will be a great success. The saved electricity will be 400 million kilowatts annually, reduced use of standard coal by 180,000 tons. The mitigation of CO2 will be 480,000 tons, and also some other big figures here you can see. That's a big vision deserved to run for. Regarding the stakeholders coordination, here is a map of stakeholders. The executor is our company, SQED. The key stakeholders include the government, end users, and the design agency. The primary stakeholders include bank, financial company, and our two shareholders, SPIC and DHQ. And the secondary stakeholders include the industry association and some experts. Regarding the roles of the key stakeholders, our company SQED, as an executor, plays a very critical role in this project. First is to coordinate with other stakeholders, and secondly, take the full responsibility of the project construction including the project plan and process management, quality control, budget control, and constructive field management, equipment purchasing, and etc. Thirdly, to run this project, including marketing, financing, pricing, and etc. The fourth is to compile and refine user handbook technical guidelines to deliver the high-quality services to the end users. The roles of Hengqin government are fundamentally important to this project. First, it makes the policies such as district master plan, regulatory detailed plan, and Cooling Heating Act require all commercial and municipal buildings should pipe into CCHP project. On the other hand, Hengqin government had made some green policies as incentives to encourage business owners complying to these policies. In the project constructions, its role includes supervision, reviewing, and coordination. Thirdly, in the operation process, Hengqin government periodically supervise and evaluate on HQE disk operation and pricing package, consider whether to provide financial support, accept the user complaint, review the market, and coordinate with the stakeholders if in need. The third key stakeholder is our design agency, the Architecture Design and Research Institute Corporation Limited. It's quite a famous and experienced agency in the district cooling industry here in China. It operates as the overall scheme designer of our project to ensure the scientific and advanced nature of the project design. And it's our consultant to review, update, and introduce industry's innovative technologies to help us upgrade the CCHP project level. The end users are the key stakeholders as well. Their roles include communication at early stage on cooling and heating system design, compliance to the agreement to ensure the heat exchange system runs properly, and providing information feedback and improvement suggestions so as to receive better services. For the key challenges and lessons learned, first, be prepared that the financial performance will more likely fall below the expected rate of return in the cultivation period. Secondly, temporary or mobile energy station could be the solution to meet the small market demand in early stage. Thirdly, construction of permanent station in stages and steps with small mobile station in early stages are beneficial for the financial performance. Fourth, while in cross-construction, it is difficult to coordinate with other projects in constructing the pipe network project. The fifth, try to incorporate the pipe network paving project or pre-paved casing tube across main streets with the municipal road projects. The last one, the lack of heat users in our district restricts the development of the heating capacity of the project, thus negatively impact our financial performance. Regarding the recommendations, it's very important to reach consensus in some functions and features. The list on the left side of the slide are the features that are quite closely related to the investment and cost control and are the major concerns to the key stakeholders. For the key stakeholders, consensus implies investment, commitment, belief, and compromise. Consensus really matters in terms of increasing construction and operation efficiency, reducing diversified costs, both tangible and intangibles. And consensus ensures the project's smoothness and feasibility. For the other recommendations, first, once again, get strong support from local government. Secondly, make sure to team up with expertise in design, construction, operation, and services, etc. Thirdly, don't expect too much on the return of the investment, especially in the early stage. In fact, it is a combination of social and economic benefits. Basically, CCHP is a kind of municipal project. You can expect stable cash flow, but it's unlikely to earn big profit from it. Lastly, if possible, try to achieve some green financing or involve in some carbon exchange program to improve the profit. That's all for my presentation, and thanks for.
Thank you so much, everyone, for the interesting presentations. Now, I would like to introduce you to the question and answer session. We have received some nice questions from the audience, and I would like to start with a question that is targeted to Mr. Kunyan. Based on your experience from municipality, what kind of activities are most important to do in a stakeholder coordination? What kind of activities should not be done?
To my experience, I think the most important should be like the bold action on the implement of the Cooling Heating Act. In our project, because for the Heating Cooling Act requires that all the stakeholders to follow the requirement in the Cooling Heating Act, and that includes like first is to for the end users to pipe their cooling system into the CCHP. Actually, for the end users, they're kind of reluctant, in the initial phase, but just we just as I said in the PPT, that the consensus we should make that we are doing this for the purpose of make a green island. So that's the first point, and the second is the implementation should be consistently, in the long run, not only in the short term, but also in the mid-term or even in the long run. That will ensure the smoothness and the feasibility of this project. And of course, in this process, that includes a lot of the explanation to end users clearly to ensure the project should be processed smoothly. And on the other hand, we need to really pay attention to the effect and the response of the implementation. During the implementation period, and to explain our policies clearly, especially to some new end users, and in the same time to improve the quality service as well.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kunyan, for your response. We have received another question for you, and the question is as follows. In a cooling, heating, and power system, there are end users with different demand and requirements for electricity, cooling, and heating. How do you, as an operator, balance these requirements? Thank you.
Oh, that's really a question for us in the first period, but right now, I got to classify one point, because the local electricity provider is a grid company, it's a local grid enterprise, and they have already provided the services in a very mature and successful way. And even if our project is kind of combined the heating, cooling, and power, but if we are actually entitled to provide electricity to end users but just because we are now in the initial phase actually, so we are really pay attention to the cooling and heating service right now, and maybe later on, we can negotiate with these services with grid energy, the grid corporation, to provide the integrated services to this local market. So that's kind of long run.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kunyan. I just have a last question for you. Who are the key stakeholders in the project presented?
Based on our experience, we think like there are at least there are four key stakeholders in this kind of project. So first to be our company, as executors. What we need to do is to coordinate with all the other stakeholders, right? And secondly, because on the project construction side, we got to take their full responsibility, including their process plan and process management and quality control, etc. And on the operations side, we kind of like to run this project, including marketing, financing, maintenance, or upsell service, and etc. And as well, on the fourth side is to compile and refine the user handbook. I mean, like paper jobs, to deliver make sure that the end users fully understand the services they would have, and including the things they need to do, so as to deliver the high quality services. And for sure, the government is the local government is a key stakeholders, because the first, as I told before, the local policies such as district master plan, regulatory detailed plan, and the cooling heating act. That's a fundamental policies which can support this project goes smoothly. And as well, in the project construction period, is the role, the government takes charge of the supervision, reviewing, and coordination, through the whole period. And also, while in the operation process, the government got to supervise and evaluate our company's operation, and to review if the charging system is reasonable or even affordable, and they even consider whether to provide some kind of financial support to either the end users or even our company. So so as to make sure the project will go smoothly in the long run. And the third stakeholders is our design agency. They runs like the overall designers of our project to ensure our project runs at a higher level, And also they got to provide some consultancy to review our project, and even introduce some innovative technologies to help us upgrade their project level. And also the fourth one should be like the end users, communicate with especially at the first stage, on the cooling heating system design, and of course to comply to the agreement, signed between us, to ensure the heat exchange system runs properly, and also provide some the useful information or like improvement suggestions, so as to make sure we all win-win situation.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kunyan, for your well-elaborated responses. And now for the last question, I'm pleased to inform you that I have today with me Mr. Jalnud Chen. He is a senior advisor from the Copenhagen Center of Energy Efficiency, and we have received a question for him. So, Mr. Chen, what is your experience on trying to introduce cooling, heating, and power district energy system in India?
Hello, everyone. I'm glad to meet you here. I'm Jolin Chen. I'm the project manager in the of the district energy team in Copenhagen Center on Energy Efficiency. We are working together with the UNEP District Energy in Cities Initiative, and then to work on developing the district energy system in developing countries. The question is quite good because India and China are two of our pilot countries for the past few years. So for India, actually, I think several things we need to keep in mind before we developing the DES system there. First of all is the awareness raising, because when we start to work in India, actually in 2017, actually there's a very limited amount of district cooling or district energy system in India. So we need to first of all do the energy the stakeholder mapping to understand who have the interest and also the power to design the project. And then we go through ministry and also government to engage them step by step. And then after that, we help the cities and also the municipality of energy to develop national cooling action plan and also the district cooling potential studies. And also in the city level, we help them to finalize or finish a citywide assessment so that they can understand what part of the city can be potentially developed as a CCHP or district energy system. And then later, we work together with our partners in our platform and also engage other stakeholders in India to work to bring the potential projects from pre-feasibility study level to feasibility study level and to the public tender level. So I think in India, the potential is there, the market is there, but we need to walk step by step, and then from the stakeholder mapping to feasibility study, and then also for financial support as well. Thank you.
Thank you for the detailed responses to the questions, Mr. Chen and Mr. Kunyan. Ladies and gentlemen, finally, we come to the end of the webinar. I would like to say thanks to the panelists for the informative and interesting presentations and to the audience for their participation. We hope that the presentations will be beneficial for all stakeholders involved in energy efficiency. And thank you for your attention and wish you a good day or night from Copenhagen.